that the internet's down, but it's not down, and I'm using my phone and it's telling me audio and visual is out. So I really don't know what's going on. I did one video, I deleted it, now I'm on another one. So I'm hoping this one we can stay connected and everything works out okay. I'm just going to put in this microphone. I thought it might have been the microphone earlier that was taking everything down. But hi Katia. So I'm really sorry, but my internet keeps turning on and off, and I thought it was the phone, so I just disconnected everything and then reconnected. Hi Yasna, Matea, Astrid, and I've just reconnected and it seems to be stable and staying on now, so that's good. I'm very happy about that. So I was saying earlier that it's Easter weekend this weekend and Good Friday is this Friday, and I'm wondering if anyone's doing anything for Good Friday in the sense of fasting or not swearing. That could be a good one for me, but also fasting could be good for me for Easter Friday. But anyway, I think it's interesting, and we're also feeling these energies. It's all very tense at the moment, in the sense of we can start to feel that separation that's happening between us and other people. I'm not sure what's going on here. I keep getting these things. Hi Emma. So I was sitting down meditating before this healing, because sometimes I'll get what it is the day before or that day, and sometimes it'll be just minutes before. So I was sitting down meditating and I said, what would you like me to work on this evening within the group? And they said heart and mind. So let's just go into that a little bit, because what's happening as this energies are the photonic wave and all these frequencies coming down from the universe, and also the vibration of the earth is rising as well. So we're the sandwich in between. We've got these energies coming upon us, and it's like a pressure cooker. So some people, hi Neda, some people are really feeling it and they're feeling agitated or disorientated, maybe a bit tired or what have you. And then other people are feeling really good, like, very blissful, heart-based. I know that I certainly in the last few months have had this real heart thing going on where I feel very blissful and soft. Like I just had a massage and a big heart healing, but I've done nothing and I just feel like which is really nice. So I think the reason they wanted to talk about that is because 3D manifestation comes from the head, comes from the mind. 5D comes from the heart. Hi, Vanya. 5D comes from the heart. So it stands to reason that whatever we are, let's say, rolling around in our brain and attaching our mind to, is going to trap us in 3D, 4D, but also in that polarity. So it's like, when the shit hits the fan in your life or something shitty happens, and then all of a sudden all these other, I can't believe it, someone's calling me. So when it's just like a snowball effect where everything goes wrong, and then you'll have times when you feel really good and everything goes good. So it's kind of like that. It's like when we're feeling good, everything feels really nice and you're attracting more good into your life. But then sometimes we go into our head, and that's when we feel bad, because we question ourselves, we doubt ourselves, we judge ourselves and judge others, and we do all this stuff and we get in a loop in our mind. So the loop in the mind is the energy going around and around and around. But when we're in our heart, the energy is just sort of flowing out and in the present moment. That's the only place you can be, is in the present moment. And that's going to be the difference between, this is my own perception with what Spirit has told me, and what I'm actually seeing and experiencing is, the more that I am calm and present, the easier my life goes. When I get in my head and I start to question things too much, it goes around and around in my mind, that's when it's either nothing moves, everything's stuck, it's stagnant, or shit just keeps hitting the fan, because I'm in a lower frequency, and it's about riding the planes of existence. So if I'm in a plane of existence of doubt and fear, I'm going to get more of that. I'm going to get more reasons to doubt myself and to doubt the world, to doubt what I'm getting. Hi, Matteo. And if I am coming from my heart, and I think the difficult thing is, when you come from your heart, we mostly perceive that as, well, I'm in my heart, so therefore I have to be so loving and kind to everyone that I just have to put up with their shit, right? So we have been brainwashed from the New Age to believe that if you're living in your heart, you have to put up with other people's shit. So you have to always be the one that makes everything calm, makes everything nice, settles everything. You're always the reasonable one. You're always the one who helps. You're always the one who's giving. Do you see what I'm saying? So we identify very strongly with the kind person, which is supposedly living in the heart, as the person who always gets hard done by, that people take advantage of, that people don't think that you may need help sometimes, or, they just walk all over you and you're just left stunned, right? So we have this perception on the whole that if we are living in our heart, we have to be servants to the people around us and put up with their crap. And what I'm realizing more and more, it's actually not that. I'm not talking about being nasty to people or anything like that. So when you're living in your heart, you recognize the words that you say, the interactions that you have with others have a consequence. And they have a very big consequence for you. Because if you go into judgment, victimhood, anger, this pain and suffering and guilt and all of this, making other people feel that way or you feel that way, it's only going to hurt you, because it's taking you down into a frequency that you now need to polarize with. You've got to balance out with, instead of raising your frequency. And what I'm learning is that when I'm in a situation with people who are clearly not even 4D, 3D, clearly 3D, and I see, look, and the thing is that some people in 3D are really in their heart. So it doesn't make them a bad person because they're living in 3D. They can be completely in their heart, but not have that awareness that we have, right? Of what's going on and where we're headed to. And that spiritual awareness. Some people just don't have that. And they're not interested. But it doesn't make them a bad person. It doesn't make them a negative person. Or even an ignorant person. It's just a person who's in the moment with 3D thinking. That's it. And what I see is that those particular people will move forward anyway, because we're all feeling it. We can all feel something big is coming. And when it does come, when you're ready, you'll glide through it. But if you're not ready, you'll have a tough time, because any shadow, any doubt, any fear, you will be confronted with. And when it's resident in you, you're going to attract it from the outside world to show you that. So for many years, many years, when something would happen, someone was nasty to me or I had a bad experience, I would say, why did I need to experience that? What is it in me that's attracting that? And I'd go into myself really deep. So I'd make an observation of it. I mean, obviously, years ago, when someone did something horrible to me, I'd be devastated. I'd be down and out for days, wondering what I did that was so terrible that this person had to treat me like that. So it would be really hard. But now I sort of see it as an observation. I go, okay, why am I needing to experience this right now? What still remains in me that's allowing this or has drawn this to me? That's what I would ask myself. And I feel empowered from that point. That one, I'm being an observer, so I'm not going into the emotions too much. And two, I'm empowered because once I've observed it and healed it, I don't need to experience it again. And that's the empowering part of it. So that's a good thing. And so I also notice that when you're living in the heart and you have these people who are nasty, it's a numbers game. I say this to people often. It's a numbers game. People will say to me, I don't understand why they did that. I didn't really know them. They did this to me. I feel really bad. How could they do that? Because we want to know why the other person did it. And I would say it's a numbers game. So sometimes it's not personal. Sometimes it is that person has to project their stuff to get it out of them onto you. And then they can walk away quite happily. And they will do it to you or someone else. So that's what I mean by a numbers game. They will do it to anyone who's willing to take it. It's not personal. So when you come across people like that, I notice them more clearly, and I'm sure that many of you do. You notice it more clearly now. You see, something's off, or I feel a bit unsettled. So loving yourself means listening to yourself, listening to what your body knows, not necessarily your ego, because your ego could tell you anything about what's going on, but your heart will always tell you the truth. Your body knowing will always tell you the truth. So if my body says, I feel uncomfortable, then I might say, why am I feeling uncomfortable? Why am I feeling uneasy? This doesn't feel right to me, And so instead of saying to that person, because remember, I'm coming from the heart, I'm not coming from the head. So if I'm coming from my head, I'm going to say to that person, I don't know, there's something not right about this. I don't feel comfortable with you. You're not making me feel comfortable. I don't like the way you're talking to me. You. Okay, and this is what the world has become. They've all become narcissistics. You're the problem. You're the reason I'm feeling this way. Don't do this to me anymore. They're all victims. Everybody's special. Everyone's a special snowflake that we have to tiptoe around and not speak in certain ways and use certain words and all this crap that's going on. So we are creating highly insensitive and highly sensitive people because they're not really connecting, right? So if I'm around someone like that, I'm not going to say you did this or you did that. I just go, okay, yeah, I'll think about that. And I walk away and I decide I don't want to see them again, because I have to be loving and kind to myself. And if my body and my inner knowing is telling me that something's not right, I will listen to it. Now, what do you normally do? I know what I did in the past. Question myself. Oh, Susan, don't be mean. Susan, they could be a really nice person. Susan, or why are you thinking like that? Stop judging them. I would go around in my head and blame myself and convince myself that I'm being the asshole and I need to work with this person or co-create with this person because it's my problem that I'm perceiving them like that, right? It's my problem. I would talk myself out of recognizing and acknowledging my own inner knowing about that person. So I can say, okay, I really love this person, and we all have relatives and friends that we really, really love, but we know their strengths and their weaknesses. So that's why I'm saying they're not necessarily a bad person, but you know, you might say to your friend or to a relative, can you help me with filling out my taxation, let's say. And they might say, yeah, but you actually know they're terrible at maths and they can't concentrate. So when they do a bad job, you're going to get upset, right? Because you know that your friend or your relative is not good with this. So why would you bother asking them? It doesn't mean you don't love them because they can't help you with your taxes, right? So I'm just saying that we understand that people have weaknesses and they have strengths. Doesn't make them a bad person. We need to acknowledge it. So you might have a work colleague and you know, I can't ask them to do that because they're really bad at it. And if I ask them to do it, they're going to stuff it up and then I'm going to pay the price and it's all going to turn to crap. So isn't it better to move your attention to the person who likes to do it and get them to collaborate with you, right? Or in some cases, just do it yourself because you know that other person cannot do it. So it's about coming from your heart with that other person, but also with yourself. So I know that if I ask that person to do it, knowing full well they don't like doing it and they're not very good at it, I'm the one who's going to carry the mistake. And I'm the one who is going to pay the price of not listening, not only to my inner knowing, but to my knowing about them. So I can't blame anyone. I can't say, you let me down, you didn't do this, because simply I knew they would, and yet I pushed forward. So that's a control thing, right? That's a control thing. So when we're living from the heart, which is where we're meant to be going, we question our own thoughts and we say, okay, why am I thinking like that? And if I truly was in my heart right now, how would I act? So I'm going to be loving and kind to myself and not ask this person again to help me. Doesn't mean I hate the person or I'm going to be nasty to them. I'm just not going to ask them again because I can't go through the grief of constantly being let down, right? When we listen to our heart, everything flows. When we don't, when we go into our head and we wrestle with our mind, it doesn't flow. It stops flowing. So this is the difference between living in the heart and living in the head. And I'm telling you, the head will keep you in paradigms of reality that you no longer wish to be in, that do not serve you at all if you're moving into 5D. It'll keep you on an us and them paradigm. So it's me and you against the rest of them. They're wrong, I'm right. You know, I was looking at that some years ago because obviously I get sent a lot of stuff, videos, what people are saying about what's coming or, you know, what might happen or what have you. And I would think to myself, well, I don't necessarily align with that. I don't necessarily agree with that. But does that make that person a liar or a bad person? No, not necessarily. They could be. What I realized is one of the big things that I realized was it depends on your past. So if I see that people have, say for instance, in a past life fought in the Orion Wars and all the problems, or they're on the Pleiades when those planets actually, those two planets became dormant, then I know they're going to respond to certain situations, little niggly things on the planet, as if it's a complete disaster and it's going to be terrible, because that's what they've experienced in the past. And their energy signature is ready to relive that once again. So I can understand that, right? So it's not that people are lying. They may be speaking from the knowledge that they had from lifetimes ago. And what I'm also noticing is this: on the planet, we have these cycles. There's a lot of religious people talking about biblical cycles at the moment. And what I noticed is that, yes, there's been several resets, and these are these cycles. But what's the difference about this one right now is to actually get us out of these cycles. So instead of having a reset and starting from the beginning again, like restructuring government, finances, education, wiping out the past, and, I'm sure they had a reset in the time of Christ too. So these resets are about wiping everything, saying that, no, it wasn't like that, and this is how it is now. But it's actually exactly the same as the beginning of the previous reset and the previous one to that. So it's like a loop. So we get really, really dark, and then everything crashes, and we go back into this 3D of being good and bad, but everybody being a bit more positive and having to pull their sleeves up and fix everything, right? So we wipe out everything and we start from the beginning again. That's the reset. And what I'm starting to see is that it's not a reset that we're in right now. It's an evolutionary step. So instead of going around and around, which a lot of people still want to do, we're actually taking a leap up into a different reality. And some of us have experienced that reality in other planets, in other existences. And so we have a memory of that. But those that have existed in the reset of the earth don't have a memory of that. So that's where this difference is coming from. That's what you get, that I suppose they call it cognitive dissonance. It's like, because there's a part of their DNA that wants to do the reset again, because they're not listening to their heart, they're listening to their head, and they're listening to the DNA of their ancestors and what their ancestors experienced. If you listen to the heart, you're listening to your spirit, to your soul, and you're realizing it's not the same. It's not another reset. It's what some would like, but it's not the reality of what we're in at this moment. So that's why it's really important to live from your heart and not allow yourself to get drawn into the reality, the lies, the destruction, the greed, the lust, the jealousy, the envy, and all of that other stuff that lies in 3D or 4D. We can't allow ourselves to go into that. And we can't allow ourselves to get drawn into it, sucked into it by someone else's manipulation. I hear people have actually said to me, oh, I always thought you were really soft, when I've said no, no, I can't do that. No, that doesn't feel right to me. Oh, I always thought you were really nice. That's a huge manipulation to say to someone, I thought you were nice. It's like, well, stab me in the heart with a blunt spoon kind of thing, right? Yeah, I am nice, but I'm more nice to myself. I honour what I feel is right for me. And if I go down your path, which is not right for me, it's not going to work for either of us. And then you're going to blame me because it's not in my wheelhouse. It's not my path, right? So I have to, the heart means starting with the self. And it doesn't mean being a doormat to everyone else. It means saying no and understanding the repercussions of that no, that some people may not want to see you. They might throw a tantrum because, look, I've said no to people that I always said yes to, and I lost their friendships because of it. Because I said no, I might not have said the word no, but I've said, look, I'm not aligning with that. My path is going down this way, so I don't want to talk about that, and I don't want to comment on it, and I don't want to be part of it. So I'm sorry, but I'm just, I can't talk about it because I've got nothing to say about it. And that has really damaged some friendships that I've had for a very long time, because I can see that at this moment they want to stay in this loop, and they want to stay in fear and judgment and all of this. And I know, I can feel it, and you can feel it. I know you can. You can feel this thing of, every now and again, I'll go in my head and I'll go, oh my God, ooh, what's coming? And then I go into my heart and I say, no, it's okay. You're going to be okay. It's going to be fine. Because we can feel this division, this tension that's going on, and we are going to be fine. And what I see is more and more I am not experiencing the same things as other people in the same room, which is very interesting, because it means that you reach a point in your frequency that people can't drag you down into the old one anymore, because there's nothing to hook into, right? And I was just thinking about this on the 8th, the eclipse and the humming and everything we've been doing in the meditations. And I was really astounded when I heard all of this, and I thought, yeah, we've been doing this for months, I mean, that's what living in your heart always allows you to receive and to be part of the knowing of where you need to be and what you need to do. So that's what living in the heart will give you. If you listen to everyone else out there, now I'm not saying don't be prepared, because some people would say, well, then if I'm living in my heart, I should just blow caution to the wind, not be prepared, not save any money, not do this, not do that. I'm not suggesting that, because your heart, your soul may be saying, why not get some extra rice, or find out where there's a good source of water, or, connect with people that you can co-create together a living condition or something like that, because we really don't know what's going to happen. What we do know is we're all feeling there's a change coming, but we don't know which way it's going to come. And the reason we don't fully know is because some of it is in the head and some of it is in the heart. And that's the separation. Because when we go into our head and we listen to all the stuff that's going on, we think, oh my God. When we're in a heart, we say, it's okay, I'm prepared, I feel calm, and everything's going to be all right. See, we think things are important, but they're not. They're actually not important. What's important is how you're feeling right now. And so we can see that with this disconnection that's happening internally, it's also happening externally. So you've got a lot of people living in their head that still refuse to acknowledge certain things. Like, I probably a lot of you are like this. I saw something interesting about, astrology at the moment. So I thought, oh, listen to this. I haven't heard these people before. And literally 3-4 minutes in, I had to turn it off. I couldn't listen to it anymore. Because there was a push for a reality that I feel, and what I noticed is a lot of people want that reality when I looked at the comments and everything, that I feel is going against humanity. So when I see someone pushing war or pushing these medical things, I instantly, I can't go there, because I can see this reset The reset comes through these things. And I don't want to manifest that for myself or for the people or the community around me. So this is a battle of heart and mind that we're in. One could say it's a battle for souls. So I want you to think about what is your trigger for going into your head and going into a cycle where, you're just thinking, obsessing. You need to talk to that person immediately and resolve it and get them to understand what you meant by that, or to understand what you meant to say, or to calm it all down, or to bring it to some sort of peace by, convincing them they're wrong and you're right. So that can be a really tough one, yeah? It can be a really, really tough one. So think about, what is your trigger? What is the thing that triggers you to go into your head and obsess in your brain about what's going on in the world? So is it, I don't know, reading certain things? Is it talking to certain people? Listening to certain programs, if that's the case? Because, I have people who contact me and say, oh, I'm really worried, I'm really afraid this is going to happen. I can feel the fear. I can almost smell it over the phone, this fear. And I really feel for them, because nothing I'm going to say is going to alleviate that fear. Because they've got a little bit of releasing to do before they can. And most of the time, the fear is around something that hasn't happened and may never happen. See, I do think that things are going to be rough. I do think that, there's going to be stuff happening. But I don't see why it needs to be worldwide, or it needs to be something that can't be fixed, or something that can't be dealt with reasonably fast. I just don't see that. I don't feel it. And I was always told it's a wave of consciousness. So I think people are going to be challenged in their thoughts and their emotions more than anything else. And that's what I think. And I think that if we are getting these waves of energy, which are coming down quite strong, I mean, sometimes you feel them on the top of your head, this pressure, I get a lot of it. And you could easily say, oh my God, I'm having a stroke, or, there's something wrong with me. There's nothing wrong, it's just the energies. So think about, what's your trigger for going into your head? And how do you get into your heart once you've gone into your head is another important thing. How do you get into your heart once you've gone into the loop at the brain? Because the mind's supposed to serve the heart, not the other way around. And we can see this separation that's been going on, and we can feel it in the people around us. And so there's probably a lot of people we've had to let go of as friends, as family members, for a period of time, because they have different philosophies, different views and belief systems to what we do. And sometimes the loving thing to do is not to keep pushing them with your information, convincing them. I mean, we all tried, right? I tried with many, many people to not do the experiment, and they still did it. Does it mean I don't talk to them? Of course I talk to them. But if they start to try and push it on me, then I don't talk to them. Because if I can honour their right to do it, they should honour my right not to. And it's as simple as that. So loving myself means honouring my rights. And also honouring theirs. We have to find the middle ground. So with some people, I've actually had to resort to talking about very simple things to remain in connection, because I just don't want to talk about the things that they want to talk about, because they want to convince me to do something I don't want to do. So I have to kind of change the subject and move it around and do that because I love them and I care for them, and I don't want to break off from them. I want the connection, and I'm sure that many of you are having the same situation happen. So I think we've been I just want to get this clear now, because they do want to do a healing, and I want to get clear on what that is, because we've opened up some things. So I feel this healing tonight is around healing the pain in the heart of whenever you've lived from the heart, being abused. What I said in the very beginning, like, we think that living in the heart means we have to allow people to abuse us, and we always have to be kind and nice and friendly, even when people are being horrible to us. And that is a very deep scar that many of us carry. And I think it's the reason that a lot of people are kind of not so fully integrated and connected with the people around them, because we often isolate ourselves when we're like this. When your heart's been hurt, because you've been kind to someone and generous to someone. Oh, hi, Lily. Yeah, so when your heart's been hurt from being kind and generous, and that clouds you, and it puts you in your head, so that your head goes all the time, oh, be careful, be fearful, be doubtful. And unfortunately, what happens is, because you've got that disconnect, you imprint your energy system so that you keep drawing the same people to you to challenge that in you, until you finally love yourself enough to say, no, that doesn't feel right to me. I'm not in alignment with it. Or can I get back to you on that? I have to think about it. Because we do need to think about it. We need to not rush into things and say yes all the time because you really like the person. You've got to think, okay, is this good for me? And that's not being selfish. It's actually being self-loving. So let's work on the heart frequency that has been disappointed and, hurt because of your kindness and because of your loving vibration. Let's work on that. So think about the space of your heart. So let's do this. Let me have a look. Okay. So let's just take some deep breaths. And closing your eyes. I think I'm going to take this jacket off because I think you'll be able to hear me moving my hands. I didn't want to have the heater on because it's not that cold, and sometimes when you have the heater on it gets too hot. So I'll put a jacket on, but anyway, I'll take it off now. So let's close our eyes and concentrate on the breath. And I want you to just allow yourself to travel down into your heart chakra. Breathing in and out of the heart chakra. And saying to your heart with your own inner voice, it's time to wake up. It's okay. It's time to wake up. It's safe to open up. And as you breathe in, I want you to imagine that you're taking light down through your nose, down to your heart. And as you exhale, you're expanding that out. Rings of light emanating from your heart. And as you do that, any cords, any little dark spots, any bruising, any bleed throughs to past lives that are hanging around the heart, where you receive the message that being nice, being kind, and having your heart open and being loving, an example of that, which is what you came to do, makes it okay for people to treat you badly, to control you, to abuse you, to hurt you, to manipulate you. And all these frequencies, discordant frequencies of manipulation, control, pain, abuse, are all being released from the rhythm of the heart chakra. And as those rings go out, more and more are released. And everywhere where you aligned and agreed with being abused because you wanted to keep your heart open, you wanted to show the world that there is kindness, generosity and love, and you wanted to heal others with that love, but they didn't see it. Everywhere where you aligned and agreed to keep your heart open regardless of the abuse, and every bit of abuse that you received as a result of that is being released. That all time, space, realities now. All the little strings, the goo, just breathing it out, letting it go. Okay, now we're going to work on those really strong bleed throughs into past lives, where you experience the same thing over and over again, your kindness, your generosity, your love of life, your spirit that so wanted to teach love, to be love, to receive love, and how the world at large told you over and over again, that's stupid, and took advantage of it. Oh, you're an idiot. You're so stupid. Everywhere where that resides in a bleed through into a past life for you. everywhere where you were taken advantage of, lied to, manipulated, used and abused. So much so that you decided, I'm not going to listen to my heart. I'm going to do the rest by just listening to my brain. I'm going to calculate. I'm going to control. I'm going to be smarter. I'm going to work harder. I'm going to isolate. All the words that you said to yourself to justify closing down your heart. Because you didn't realize that with an open heart you had the power to say no. That the open heart meant being more loving towards yourself first and allowing that love to be received by others. Who wanted to receive it. So let's remove all these bleed throughs into the past lives, right into the history, right back. All the past lives. And all the discordant energies, the spells, the witchcraft, the black magic, the hexes, the curses, the incantations that rendered your heart pained, that were placed on you to stop your heart from creating the truth and staying connected to the universe, to the God force. That's where you connect. That stopped you from listening to your own spirit. All of this darkness, this discordant vibrations, the beings that were involved in this, the contracts, the oaths, the commitments, the promises, the vows that you made to align and agree with their way of being instead of your own in order to remain safe and alive. I'm going to let that go throughout all lifetimes, space, realities. Okay, calling in the time. Release, release, release. And all reversals of frequencies, energetic signatures that were discordant and placed within, all distorted cosmic rays coming from other realities to manipulate, control and disempower, being released now throughout all time, space, realities, around the space of the heart. Any discordant frequencies, wires, implants, genetic wiring between the heart and the head that has created a disconnection that you hold from your family, is being released. And all frequencies of bullying, judgment, manipulation, entrapment, and enslavement around the heart, frequency to be released, whether this lifetime or other lifetimes, whether genetically or off planet. Let's move this into alignment. And everywhere where you aligned and agreed to not listen to your heart, but to listen to the outside world instead. All chords and discordant frequencies, imprints, implants, and energies that have supported that around your heart are leaving now. All timeline distortions, inverted matrices that have kept you within the paradigm of mind over heart are being recalibrated into the mind serves the heart, and the heart is always aligned with the highest good, the highest realms within the universe, with the God force, with yourself. And all distortions around the head, implants, discordant frequencies, resonant imprints, to lock you into your mind, to make the mind predominant, to close you off from spirit. All these distortions are being removed satisfactorily. And all 5 quadrants of the brain being restored to work in perfect harmony, in perfect alignment. The heart. So we're calling in the golden ray to enter the brain. Fill the brain with this frequency and move down to the heart and fill the heart chakra with this frequency of golden light, the golden ray. Pure, pure, liquid gold, filling up the entire brain, the brainstem, the throat, all the way down to the chest, and then all through the body, all the way down, right down through to the legs, down to the feet. Very good. And I'll ask that a recalibration between the heart and the mind be facilitated over the next 7 days. That you see clearly what triggers you to go into your mind and very, very quickly re-enter your heart, love yourself, respond in a loving way to yourself, to becoming aware of the separation that's going on and understanding when to speak, when not to speak, when to simply sit in your heart, because that's all that is needed, simply the vibration, not the words. Very good. So I'm going to love you and leave you and have a beautiful sleep.